Well, a very warm welcome to our next set of big questions. And today we're going to be tackling a question which has a little bit of resonance for me this week. We went to visit a church that, it's a very well-known church and it has plenty of staff. And as we went, beautiful as it was, we realised that we received absolutely no welcome. The member of staff, who was presumably on duty, spent his time on the phone, and anybody who walked in was completely ignored. We were there for quite a long time, and at no point did anyone say hello to us, and at no point did anyone welcome us to the service or show us what was happening. It was a really quite unusual experience for me, and I went away feeling, a little bit sad, disheartened that was the welcome that was received at a church. Now, in many ways, that was a welcome that just didn't happen. But in terms of hostility or being actively encouraged not to come to a church, that's not something I've really experienced. But I do know that it happens. And our question is about that. What do you say to families and individuals who feel that they wouldn't be welcome at the church because of their families and their relationships? It is a really important and powerful question. And the first thing that I personally would want to say is that I'm really sorry. That is not how it should be. From a Christian perspective, the welcome that is offered is one that is given out of grace, love and compassion. For God so loved the world is the very basis of our belief. God loved the world. He so loved it that he sent his only son. His only son to be alongside people, many of whom had found themselves in really difficult and challenging circumstances. The woman at the well, unable to go and collect water during the daylight hours, hence she should come across those who would gossip about her, whose personal life has been really topsy-turvy and very difficult for some time, and it is Jesus who welcomes her, talks to her, offers her life-giving water at that very moment. Doesn't offer her that after setting out a whole pile of conditions. Jesus, who sits with those who would be tax collectors or lepers, those who would be shunned by society, those whose worth is infinite, but whose worth has been lost in the sight of ordinary people. Jesus, who welcomes the Gentile and the Jew, the slave and the free, the male and the female, for all are one in Jesus Christ. And so the first thing that I would like to say to those who feel that they haven't been welcomed and couldn't find a place in the church is, I am so sorry. And that is not how it should be. For if there's one thing that is clear from the scriptures, is that God welcomes those who are outsiders, the foreigners, those living in poverty, those struggling with illness, and those who are shunned by society are the very, very people that Jesus holds in his heart. And it is my hope and prayer that people will find a place where they can belong, where they can be valued, where their families can be welcomed. Certainly at our church, there are lots of different experiences of life. People have had the ups and downs, and they come to us and we invite them on a journey to meet with a God who welcomes them, a God whose arms are outstretched in love upon the cross, a God who, through utter self-offering, says to them, says to me and you, I love you. And we start with that, and then we invite people on the journey of faith to follow Jesus, just as Jesus' first disciples did. Sometimes we will get it wrong and make wildly difficult mistakes. Sometimes we will get it exceptionally right, just as Peter did. The same man who recognized who Jesus was, the Messiah, the Son of God. He's the one who also denied Jesus, was reinstated, and becomes the foundation for the church. It is a journey. Discipleship is a journey. And each of us are called to follow Jesus. And in following Jesus, we are called to respond and grow and learn from his teaching. And so I would say to people who feel like they've been excluded or rejected, I'd say to them, please forgive us when we've got it wrong. Give it a second chance, because it is worth everything in the world to know the power of God at work in your life. And each one of us is on a slow journey to being sanctified, to being made right with God, to learning to live as God has called us. We receive justification through faith, that knowledge that God loves us and accepts us and cherishes us if we respond to his call. And then we begin that journey of growing as a disciple. And that might mean all sorts of things for us, about reevaluating how we live and our circumstances. But it is a journey that God calls us on as we are. And so whatever our family circumstances, whatever our background, God welcomes us, God holds us, and God calls us. Calls us to be in community, and to be in a community that loves one another, and to be in a community that is willing to say, I'm sorry, I got it wrong, and look for forgiveness. To be in a community where people are held. To be in a community that reflects the extraordinary welcome of Jesus Christ. And so I hope you find a place of welcome. I pray that you do. And I pray that you have it in your heart to forgive when the church has failed or let you down. And I invite you to take that step of faith, to reconnect, and to start that journey of discipleship once again.